before we introduce the new stuff today, just to recap what we talk about on Tuesday. So what did we do on Tuesday?
Made our own website.
Yeah, make your own website and use a template. We also talk about some of the things you can do with Markdown, right? Adding some images, hyperlinks, text. So today we're going to do something similar. So it'll be another way of doing creating a profile for your GitHub account. So and make sure that you practice. So for the lab 1, Tuesday already covered the first half. So today we're going to cover the second half. And again, make sure you practice. And also today we're going to have some example how you can contribute on GitHub. And basically the same procedure that you want to contribute to open source projects on GitHub. So after today, you should feel comfortable to ask questions on GitHub, open an issue on GitHub, or submit a pull request. Although it will take some time for you to contribute some quality stuff, but at least you know the steps what you need to take if you want to contribute something. And so first, let's cover the second half of that one, how to create a GitHub profile, right? So if you open your GitHub account, and then if you load up, this is so-called a GitHub profile. You might not have a lot of stuff in there right now, but at least you already create some projects, and here you can show some of the activities, how many commits that you did every day, for example. And so what we're going to do is to show you how to create something like this, okay? And so this one here, if you look at the profile, you can go to my profile or you can open your own profile. Yours might be empty, so this one actually comes from a GitHub repository. So if you go to click my name here, so notice this one here, github.com/ and then the username, and then also the username. So kind of similar to what we did in the last lecture. You'll be your username.github.io, right? Remember? So that's your website that you can host a lot of stuff. But you also have a special repo, the same username, but this one you only host a so-called markdown readme.md, and this whatever you put in here, it will show up on your homepage. So this is basically a special repository dedicated to showing content on your profile. So I'm going to show you step by step how you can create one, and then in terms of the content is the same like what we covered last time. It's just markdown, so you can do whatever you want. You can have some, for example, pages, links, images, or even video put on top there. So first, let me do it this way. Let me change the name because you can only have one repository using a username. So I'm going to change it to something else. So right now, if I make changes, if I go back to my account, probably it will disappear. You see, it's gone, right? So now your account should look something like mine, except that you can pin your project. If you don't have anything, you pretty much be empty right now. So what we're going to do next is to create a new repository. So I'm going to come here, new repository, and then from here you can just setting an owner. Oh, I have a lot of AWS stuff here. So you'll be my username, your username, and then just type again your same username, okay? Don't use a different name. So this will be the special one that we need to create. If you want to put a description, you can. So I will say GitHub profile, and then make sure add this one, add a README file, okay? And for here license, if you want, you can just have a MIT whatever. I don't have to have a license. This is just like some text content. And then just create a repository. Okay, so now you see, like by default, it's just going to show you in here. Once you have this one, you should be able to, on the right, you should see this tab here. This is a special repository. It's README will appear on your public profile, right? And then you can click the button, okay, view profile. Right? You see this one on your homepage? Yes. Okay. And then that's it. The same step. Clone the repo to your computer, do some changes, push, and then you solve in here. Of course, you're welcome to just click the edit icon upper right corner. You can also do changes in here. So Markdown is very flexible. As we covered previously, text, links, and then some headings, text, whatever. You can also have a lot of emojis. So if you like emojis, this should be the nice one, right? If you like Notepad on Windows, it doesn't support those. But Markdown is basically a rich text format that allows you to do a lot of stuff. So here, if you click the edit button, right, but I would recommend that you clone to a local computer. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. So here, you will see this one here, the less sign and then exclamation and then 2 hyphens. There's also another one at the end. So this basically commented out. So it's just like HTML, like the comment tag. So commented out, that means it doesn't show up. So if you remove these two, and then if you show this one, it will show up. So simply, for example, let's just keep this one, remove this one, remove this one. You can do the preview before you commit the changes. So you can do the preview. See that? Just remove those and then preview. And then if you commit, then this is where you can continue to work on. So it's just like Markdown, pretty simple. So upper right corner here, commit changes, and then you can write a message. So this is exactly the same like on Visual Studio Code. We type like the commit message. So this will be the one showing here. If you want to have a more detailed description, you can put in here. But most of the time, you just click OK. You also show here, create a new branch for blah blah blah. Because this is pretty simple, we don't need to do that. But later, I'm going to show you how you can create a branch. So this is very simple, very important if you want to contribute to open source project. You need to create a so-called branch. Basically, the main master is the one that you don't want to break things. So you're going to create a copy somewhere else and then make some changes. And then when you push that one to master, you need to check, make sure that it doesn't accidentally break stuff or have any conflict. Because 10,000 people can contribute to the same project. And this is everyone is actually working on a branch. You will get to know better later once we are there. So just commit changes. Okay, and then just go back to your GitHub repository, your homepage. Right? Just to see something nicer in here. So if you want to look for like more emoji, there should be, just go online. There should be some, believe some website like emoji copy and paste, for example. There are tons of websites that allow you to copy those emoji and then just paste to GitHub, right? So for example, I like this one. It works. Let me see here. Okay, smile. Then maybe just the first one. Okay. So here, there's a button here, for example, copy, right? So you just simply copy and come back to here, edit. Oh, it's already have some smile in there. That's fine. But I'm just showing you how you can add a new one, right? So here, I can put this one and then just Control V, right? Do you see? It's pasted there. You can add as many as you want, okay? And then commit changes, commit. Right. So you can make a pretty like funny GitHub profile if you want. As easy as it is, right? So within there, you can also create multiple sections. So I can do here. I can say, so for Markdown, usually you want to have if you have a different headings, it will be 2 pound sign. Usually you don't want to have just one. Level 1 is preserved for some other special purposes. So usually you want to start with level 2. Level 1 is when you have something, you want to build a book or something. Sometimes you automatically, you have a heading. Anyway, just start with level 2, okay? Trust me. So I can say here will be my project, or maybe education, okay? Or maybe let's say employment, okay? And then from here, I do right now, okay? So this is a hyphen or minus sign, basically an order list. Or you can have 1 dot something, 2 dot something if you want to have a list. So here I would say University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Okay. And the second one, for example, I can say Binghamton University, where I worked before, right? And then again, you can preview, right? Really nice. And so next, you can add some, for example, here, add another section, for example, projects, like that. And then you can continue to add, for example, if you want to have an order list, 1, blah, 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 2, blah, 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 something like that. So here I will say, for example, Gmap, okay, leaf map, white box. And if you want to have a hyperlink, it'll be easier if you clone to your local computer using Visual Studio Code and then just like Control L, it'll be easier. If you want to do it in here, if you're lazy, then you have to type square brackets and then another square brackets and then what? How to add a hyperlink? Remember? Brackets, okay, square brackets and then the parentheses. Then from here I can just https utk.edu, right? If you remember, you can just type. If you don't, you can go online. And then so I'm gonna come back here, paste. Right, so this is where we add the hyperlink. Do the same thing, square brackets, regular brackets, and then parentheses, and then http binghamton.edu, for example. I can do the same thing for other projects, so on and so forth. So it's up to you what you want to add, right? And then commit the changes and come back preview. Nice, right? So for the second half, it's pretty simple, right? This can take you maybe just 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 2 minutes to create the repo, and then take a couple minutes just to maybe paste some of your stuff from your CV, and then try to organize. So try to make it look a little bit nice. Just don't like lazy, just these two. You want to have it like professional, okay? Similar to your website that we covered last on Tuesday. Okay, not just like copy and paste template and then done. You want to make it look like something real, okay? I am not asking you to have a complete one, but at least, I mean, you can say the name, some of the information on your project, just to demonstrate, okay? And then throughout the semester, you can add more. So those things, hopefully at the end, it will contribute to your something you can showcase on the resume, okay? So you can have text, images, videos, emojis, whatever you like. And then at the end, you have something like this. So when people go to your homepage, they know what project you're working on, what's your background, okay? So it's just like your another way of showcase your resume, okay? It's going to be a lot more competitive just than a static resume if you're trying to get into the tech industry or even some analyst jobs. Questions? Alright, should be pretty easy, okay? So try it out, and again, once you finish, then you can polish it. So for now, I'm going to change it back to my previous one. Okay, so I'm going to do here, change it to 2 maybe, rename, and then I'm going to change my previous one back. So here, right, rename, and then I should have the previous one back. Oh, by the way, so if you want to add some like these pages, you can do as well. It's pretty simple. So you can, let me show you what it looks like. So if you want, you can go to my homepage and just to look at what this is, where are these from. So actually you can just, the same idea, right? Within the square brackets, you can actually put an image. So it's a square brackets here. Where is it? So within the square brackets, it can be text. It can also have an image. So earlier, actually, I showed you an image. So where does this one come from? If you go to, for example, img.seals.io. So let me show you here. This one. You just type maybe on Google. Okay. So seals.io. Okay. we go to the website here, shields.io. So this one actually allows you to build all kind of pages so they can put on your homepage. So I'm going to maybe how about this? Social, okay? And this is allow you to put these icons on your homepage. For example, GitHub followers, or maybe your LinkedIn, your Twitter, for example, your Twitter. For example, here, Twitter follow, or just your Twitter account. So look at this one here. If you click, it's going to show you, for example, just type your username or your GitHub. I'm going to type my name here, and then it's going to show you here. Oops. Oh, is it somewhere here? Where is it? Style. 1 second, where did I? Well, it doesn't allow me to change here. Yeah. Or you can just simply maybe copy. Let me copy this one here. Okay, this is GitHub ID. So here. Yeah, maybe this one is broken. Let's try another one. So GitHub, for example, just show you for example how many followers that you have on GitHub. Okay, so I'm gonna create copy this one, followers like 50. Right, and here I can just type my username, GSWQS, and if you see the bottom here, right, 4,100 followers on GitHub. So I'm just going to copy this base URL. By default, it's copy easy markdown. So, and then if I come back to here, take a look at this. Oh, this will be the URL. Make you have URL. Believe you can have the complete copy HTML. Let me paste this one. Oh, okay. So this one is just the icon. So when people click the icon, if you want them to, for example, if you right now see here, if I click my icon, it doesn't take you to actually to the website. So if you want, this is where we can do that. So let me come back here. All right. So this is the link. This is basically just the icon. So remember what we did previously. You want to remember what we did the previous, how to add like hyperlink, right? So it'd be square brackets and then parentheses, remember? So right now this one is actually, we want to put this one within here. So basically just like the text. So what we're going to put in here, let me do it this way, right? Exclamation. And this one, if you remember, if we want to insert an image, you'll be exclamation, square brackets, and then the parentheses. So this is actually, you'll be something like this. So I'm going to copy paste this one inside here, and then just do a preview. It might not work. Let me see here. Can you see this one right now in here? So you can do it this way, just like why it's so slow? So now it shows up in here, but if you click, it actually doesn't take you to. It only takes you to the icon. It's not actually take you to the GitHub homepage. So what you want to do actually is to put this one, the image, within a hyperlink and the text. So I'm going to create another one here. You'll be this and this, and then so this one will be going to put this one inside the square brackets, and then from here you can tag people to whatever they want to tag, whatever you want to tag. So I can say, for example, https utk.edu. Okay, because it's GitHub, you probably want to have a GitHub account, but this is where you show up the icon, and then the hyperlink behind. So now if I preview, look at this one here. Now if I click, right, open a new tab, it should take you to UTK. Make sense? So you can have a base, and then behind the base, you can set a hyperlink to take people to your LinkedIn, your Facebook, whatever you like. So this is how you can create a base if you want. Again, just go to my repository and then look at the markdown file. I just change things to your liking. Okay, so I can have a lot of this. I can have link to my, for example, to my UTK homepage, my CV, my LinkedIn, or even can show like how many people visited your homepage, right? So look at this one here. You'll be the last one, visitors, right? So all you need to simply copy this line to your computer, to your GitHub profile, and then just change this one to your GitHub username and the repository. So what I can do here, if I copy this link and then paste it on GitHub, paste it on the URL, and other ones maybe proceed. What is this? GitHub page not save. Yeah, it doesn't allow me. So let me show you here. For example, this will be the username, and the second one will be your repository name. So for example, I can change to Gmap, right? And then if I preview, right, 3 visitors. Maybe the total, I'm not sure, but anyway, so this is how you can customize your profile to have all kind of badges, links, images, text, whatever you want. Okay, so take some time to create one, and then once you have this, you should have enough to submit your lab one. Okay, I'm gonna discard my changes. Questions? If not, let's continue. So next, I'm gonna show you how you can so-called create. Let me show you how to contribute first, and then I'm going to show you how to create a branch so they can contribute to GitHub. And I'm going to, so the next step here, you need to follow through, because I want to see each of you contribute to my repository. So I'm going to use the sample one that we created. So it's under resources. If you scroll down, oops, it's not there yet. Let me edit the page. I believe I already edited, but it's not here. Oh, it's here. It's already here. So let me publish it. Let's into it. If you scroll down to the page and then find the Git repositories, so click this one here, GEOG-510. And if you open it on GitHub, so I'm going to cover this one, show you some of the useful tabs that you might use when you're trying to ask questions or you're trying to contribute. So this is the main repository, and upper right corner here, if you let me go back to the previous one. I forgot to mention the last time, GSWK, for example, your GitHub.io, hub.io. So for this one, once you create a website, right, this will be the link to your website. So you might want to add your homepage. So upper right corner here, it's always good to paste the URL to your website. So https your username.github.io, save changes. So in this way, when people come to your GitHub repository, you have the hyperlink, so people can click the hyperlink and then take you to the website. So not all the repositories websites, so but if you have some links that you want to point people to, so this is where you can write it. So I'm going to have my website, your URL, and also your topic. So the topic is useful when you're trying to make it easier for people to find you. Okay, so if you have some projects specifically addressing specific topic, for example, Python or Jupyter, whatever, you can type in here. So I can say, for example, just type, for example, Python, right? And then they say data science, whatever. Once you type a keyword, you want to show up all kind of text in here. So I'm going to save changes. And then you see this. So when you click this one, it's going to take you to all the repositories contain the Python keywords on GitHub. So this is similar to Twitter, tag, Facebook, right? So basically organize stuff in this way. And if your project becomes really popular, it will come up on the first page, right? So this is getting you more exposure. And one example I can show you, for example, I'm going to show you maybe, how about this? GMAP, for example. All right, so I have projects here. I'm going to go to my project. So similarly, if you on the right here, you see I put a bunch of text in here. So if someone is interested in exploring all kind of projects related to, how about Google search engine, for example, right? And if you click the text, you're going to come up on the search results. So you see here some of the project, for example, GMAP, Earth Engine, Python stuff, right? So pretty much I have at least 4 or 5 projects that's on the first page, right? So they basically just like Google search result. If you want to really make it impactful, try to make sure that your project come up on the first search page. If you like 10 people to scroll like 10 pages, then most likely not going to find your project. So this is one way you can add relevant text to your project to make it easily discoverable. Okay, so this is one, and then most other stuff in here, releases. So this is what we're going to talk about later this semester, how you can create a new release, and then so you can publish that one on GitHub, on PyPI, and also on Conda. But for now, just showing you like some of the project, like when you go to GitHub, how to figure out whether this project is useful or not, or is it something interesting. You can also look at how many people are using your project. So people develop projects, but they build on top of other people. So upper right corner, on the right here, right, used by 791. So these are only projects that hosted on GitHub that use your library, for example, on as a dependency or import or whatever. It's going to show up in here. If you want to figure out how people are using it, if you click, it's going to showcase. So you're aware, because you can create a repository. If it is public, it's going to show up here. If it is private, you won't know. So if you want to see how people are using your project, then you can look at this way, right? Or any project you like, just to figure out why or what kind of user cases, right? You can also see how many contributors. So later I'm going to create a repo, and then I will ask each of you to contribute. So you will become a contributor in the project. So if you click the contributor, it's going to show you each individual contributor, how many commits that they have contribute to this one. So this is why the open source community is so powerful, because everyone can contribute something. It doesn't have to be something technically really advanced. You can fix typos, you can make some improvement, you can correct something. It can be very tiny. So every little thing helps. So once you are there, you see homepage, it's going to show you, for example, the frequency, how many commits that you put into GitHub every since you see the project started in 2020, April 2020. So it's 2.5 years. Sometimes if I have more time, I contribute more. If I don't, like you see, it's what, right? Most of the people only contribute one time, but you become an official contributor to a project. So this is what you can do when you have time. Try to explore what project you're interested in, and they can contribute something very tiny. Then you can claim, okay, I contribute to 50 projects last year, right? That's a big number, or 10 projects. There's always something you can improve. Don't assume that every project is like perfect. It's not. You will always find something that is, needs some improvement. So go ahead and export it. And so within your, for example, within your GitHub, there's an Insight tab. So the Insight tab probably is only for after you log into the account. If you don't log in, probably you don't see this one. So this is only for the owner. You will be able to see how many people visited your GitHub repository and how many people actually clone your repository. So you see, for example, 260, right? So every day you get maybe 20, 30 something clone. Oops. GitHub is a bit slow today. And so besides the topics, so most of the time we'll be using the issues and the pull requests. And there's also another one called discussions. So discussion basically is allowing you to ask questions. Issues is more like report some bugs or report some vulnerability or something like that. Not all the repository has this one enabled. I'm going to show you how you can enable. But again, show you, for example, how many visitors, right? 200, 400 people visit the repository every day. And you can also see where are those traffic coming from. So if you're trying to promote your project, you can promote on Twitter, Facebook, social media. You will know, for example, most of people actually find this repository from Google or from YouTube, GitHub, right, or GMap. So this will provide some information if you want to maximize the exposure of your project. This will be helpful. You also see some of the pages. So you want to make the pages that most people are using, make it better, right? Some of the pages might not be as frequently viewed as others. Okay, so this is one example. So next I'm going to go back to the GEOG-510 repository example. So as I said, right, there's no discussions here. So discussion was a new thing maybe a year ago, maybe more than a year. It used to be just issues, but issue means that something's wrong or there's a bug. So if you're just asking a question, or can I do this or can I do that, it's better to enable the discussion board. So I'm going to go to settings here, and then down here there's a discussion. So all we need is to check this one. You can do that for your own repository. If you're just seeing my 510, you won't be able to do that. So I'm just click this one and then set up discussions, and then just click start discussions. Once you enable this, right, congratulations. Now you have this discussion tabs enable. And from here, if you click the discussion tabs, right, you can have announcement, journal, ideas, polls, Q&A, show and tell. Okay. So now I want each of you to go to the discussion and then just post anything here. Ask a question, make or showcase whatever, just a single sentence or whatever, and make sure that you can contribute to the GitHub repository by asking a question. So whatever you want to do, just go there, and and then I'm going to show you, for example, how I can respond. So one example here, if I go to, for example, discussions on GMap, right? See how people pretty much ask questions every day, and you can also see on the right whether the question has been answered or addressed. And so if I see here, right, if I click, right, people ask the questions, something wrong with my code, then I can respond, okay, what you need to do, and I can mark as an answer. So this is how people can ask questions and how others can help. So it's not only myself can answer questions, anyone know the answer can answer the questions. So this utilize everyone's knowledge. So anyone? No one? Just go to the repo and then click new discussions, and you can select, for example, quick Q&A, right? And okay, can I do this? Whatever, just post anything. Okay, this is just a dummy repo, it doesn't really matter. Okay, and then so how can I install GMap, for example, right? Start discussion. It would be better to have this the title a little bit more descriptive. So when you try to ask questions, also try to look for what's existing available. Okay. Okay. We already have one, right? Okay. Like Bas, right? First one. Okay. Anyone else? And here I can also, for example, I can like, where is it? Coding fun. Okay. Awesome. I like that. Right. You can have a response with the emoji, right? And then, of course. Okay. Then you can respond, right? So this is how you can make things interactive and become a community. just like you Google or you find answers on Stack Exchange. When you know an answer or it's the good answer, you can always respond, right? Cool. So this is how it's just like a discussion board on Canvas, but it's like public forum, and then this is where you work together with other people. So right now it's just simply asking questions. And so how many do we have now? Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We have more than double, triple here. Each of you just ask one, right? Write anything, and just to get a feeling of like what it is like to yeah, okay, yeah, either one is fine. So on the right here, you see if there's like general discussion, you're going to show how many people doing, right? This is 3, and so this one, right? Do you have a fabric? Just curiosity. I don't. Okay. Can you suggest one? Okay. And so if it's a really good answer, I can mark as answer. And you guys can also like up, right? Thumbs up, and then it's going to go up to the top. So now if I come back to here, you see this question is the answer? Yeah. You see the green check mark? That means it's good. So when you try to ask questions, also look for the existing one, see if it's already available. Like since some other people have already asked a similar question, then you don't have to ask it again. Just look at the answers. And what else? Right. So you can also show and tell. You can also have videos. So you can actually upload videos. So I'm going to new discussion here. I can do like Q&A. So this will be particularly useful if you're trying to debug something. So you can also provide source code. So this is the nice thing about GitHub is that the source code that you provide, people can just copy your code and then debug it. So I'm going to show you here, right? Assume that, okay, the map does not show up, okay? I'm going to ask these questions. So in here, you can click this one here, add code. So you can add pretty much Python, JavaScript, anything. So if you click this one, it will look like this. So this one is called inline code. Inline, basically, within the line, you can actually, let me show you here. So I can say, for example, this is the Gmap, whatever. If I select this one, and then click the inline code, preview, you see, this is being encoded as code. So people can copy it, but usually it will be better to have a code block. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. So it'll be and then enter So here you can specify what code it is. So I can say, for example, this is Python. Okay, import leaf map. Okay, and then m.leafmap.map m, right? And then if you preview, look at this, right? Upper right corner here, it's going to show you where you can copy this code. So especially if you have a very long script, this will be useful. Besides using Python, you can also use other stuff. So I can show, for example, here the bash. So bash usually means it's just a command line program. So I can say, for example, pip install leafmap, just to show people how to execute this step. So these are used for different purposes. When you render, it doesn't really matter because people are just going to copy. But you can tell Markdown to show what this is, right? And besides that, I can have a video, I can have images embedded inside here, right? So if I want, I can go to my let's see, where's my, or I can download like any short video, or you can use any GF animation. So just like what we did previously. Let me come back to here. So again, I'm going to go back to my 510, or not my 510, so my GitHub.io. Okay, oops. I'm just going to copy a GF animation so that I can show you to you, right? So here I have this, and then I'm going to come back to here. So all the Markdown that we covered last time, it can be used directly in any of those. Let's see here, raw. Right, so this is the Markdown. Or I can just simply copy this one, right, and then come back to a discussion here. if you record a screen cast of the error, you can just upload this one to img.imager.com and then just get the URL, and then you can paste the URL directly coming to here. So this is where it's better for people to have you debugging. So now I come back to here, preview. Cool, right? So this can be anything. So it can be images, can be screenshot, can be pretty much. So or I can do this. Okay. So I'm going to maybe use Windows, the snipping tool. Okay. And assume, okay, right now this is like here. I'm going to script this one, new, and then I can just take a screenshot. Okay. Once you have this, I just need to just click the copy button. So anything on your clipboard can be pasted to GitHub, and then it changes to an image. So now take a look. I just copy an image, and then within this right mode, place your cursor somewhere, and then just Control V. So take a look. It's going to say uploading images, and then blah 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 .png. Preview. Take a look. Right? Pretty nice. So you can video images, anything like, so you can MP4, but like not like large file like gigabyte. But if it's only a couple megabyte, you can certainly can do it easy. And once you have this, okay, just submit discussion. Boom, right? Now you can have call, you can have all kind of stuff. So this is where you ask questions if you need help. Okay. So now discussions. Okay. Wow, it's the disk grows, right? So nice. So now you can enable discussion for your repo. You can do that. Next one I'm going to show you is issues. So issues is pretty much the same thing, except that issue usually is to report bugs or make a feature request or something. So I can hear new issues. Alright, and then from here I can ask a question. Okay. So I say the map does not show up. Okay, so this is a bug, and so this is a bug. Okay, and how to reproduce, for example, when you try to ask question on this open source project, you always want to make sure that the error that you're running into does not necessarily occur on other computer, on other OS. So you want to provide minimum details that people will be able to reproduce this error. Otherwise, I cannot help you out because it doesn't happen to me. Okay, so you can either provide the source code, or you can take a screenshot, or have a short video animation, just to make sure that people understand like what's the issue. Okay, so those I'm asking empty question. Yes, Jack.
For like just general debugging practices,
Mm-hmm.
you always consult GitHub, or do you go on Stack Overflow?
Usually I will do the debugging by myself first. Just do a simple Google or ChatGPT, and then if they help me, then I don't need to ask questions. But if I'm doing this stuff, I spend a lot of time, I couldn't figure out, then it's better to not just when you open the issue, do a quick search first before you ask questions, because they will be duplicate. So for example, here I can say, if I come to the issue, and then you see right now it's opening like 17 open. Close means that either it's already completed or it's not going to be implemented or whatever. So I can click this one, and you can take a look, you can scroll down, or you can just simply search, do the filter. I can say, how about this, authentication. Don't try to like write a long sentence, because this is not like Google, but at least you can find some of the relevant issue or related to authentication of Google Ascending. So then you can find out some of those, for example, feature request, or is it a bug or something else, or is it already implemented? So we have an idea. Basically, just like the best practice to ask questions is to see if somebody has asked a similar questions, has that issue been resolved, or is it still pending? If it's an open issue, that means it's still working on, and in that way you know the status. So here, let me come back to this one. Assume that okay, the issue is this one, and you're running to the same issue. Somebody has asked, and then you can here provide, okay, I just ran into the same issue. Commit, comment. Once you do this, you're going to subscribe to this thread. So when people respond, you're going to get an answer as well. So, but If you don't, you can just click unsubscribe button if like too many emails, if you don't like. So this is how you can ask questions on any issues. Again, just like I did earlier, right? I want to provide a call, so a Python call, and then blah blah. You see? So import leave me, whatever you want to provide. Okay, and it's also good to provide your environment. So if you installing a packages, you want to say is it your Windows, Mac, Linux, what's your Python version. So those things will be useful so that people can reproduce. If you have a bug that many people are facing, then it's good to report it. But if it's only you, it might be a computer configuration, it might be something else, who knows. So in that way, you will need to provide enough detail for you to for other people to actually to reproduce. So I can show you some example. I can say, for example, go to the folder GitHub, right? I ask a lot of questions on GitHub because I myself, the more you use those projects, the more likely you're going to run into issues. So when you're trying to ask questions, I can go to here, like folder issues, and you can say author. You can sort this one just to see, for example, how many questions that you ask. But you can look at others, and then I'm going to click this one and look at how I ask questions. So in that way, I guarantee 100%, because for me, before I ask questions, I would test it on my environment and other computer and make sure that I really know that this is a bug, because it happens in all platforms. So I'm going to show you, for example, describe the bug. Okay, the vector layer does not render when the zoom level greater than 14, right? I asked 2 weeks ago, and I know who actually developed this one. I know the guy, so I add him. So they, just like Twitter, you add somebody, they will know. And then I'm going to provide a script, like how you can reproduce this one, and I also show animation showing you what it looks like, right? So the zoom level the map does not render when the zoom level is greater than 14, and then right. So clearly, this is something wrong with the project or with the plugin. And then you will describe the behavior, what's the environment, and provide the potential solution, and also the sample code and alternative resources. So this will be particularly helpful for the developer to figure out, right, what to take, what kind of solution potential would be, right? And then other people can jump in. They can provide more context, right? They know the issue, right? So this is the guy from Microsoft playing the computer, because trying to develop something that can help visualize data. So he knows what I'm working on, so he can provide more context. I can follow up, and then other people can comment, right? You can see it become a long discussion, and then the developer can come back and comment. So because he knows the best, I'm not a master that knows everything. JavaScript is not my expertise. And then she will show that what's the problem, and then I provide some additional details, images, screenshots, source code, and right now we have a solution. So the developer fixed it, improved the plugin, fixed that, and then I test the new solution, and then it's fixed. And then he can provide a little bit more context, right? So now we solve the problem. So this is how we solve problem in the open source community. So make sure you understand what are the best practices to ask a question, and how you get engaged with the developer. And a lot of excellent developers that are willing to help people. If you know how to ask questions, okay, if you know how to get their attention, because you are providing something useful, you're reporting a bug or requesting a new feature, not everything is going to resolve in the way you want, but most of the time, if it is something that's really an issue, people maintaining the project will be able to help you out. Okay, so just try to learn how to some of the best practices, and then this will be the starting point of your journey to contribute something, right? Contribute doesn't mean that you have to contribute source code. If you report a bug, that's contribution as well. Okay, you ask questions, you provide source code, or you can help others if you know the solution. So this is one way to open an issue. And after a while, if you don't get any response, maybe it is too difficult, people have no idea, you can follow up if you want to. So for example here, I click this one, right? Another questions does not work with delay control. You see, all the questions I divide the bug, I provide the source code, I provide animation, and because the problem of this one is actually coming from the feature that was trying to implement in div map, right? Who can provide source code. So there are tons of features, but for beginners, you don't have to know that many, but it's useful to know how to report an issue. And then once it's implemented, I can change the source code and I can link this one to my the project. Again, just looks to that, and then also you can have all kind of categories just to showcase some of the opening features. Some of those are feature requests that personally I want to implement, or feature requests by other users, or it can be some of the bugs, right? So it's good to have this on record. I can, when I have time, I can always go back and then try to implement something. But if it's only in your mind, it's going to be forgotten sometime if you have too many things going on. So this is also a good way to keep things on records. And also other people can help, right? So you can put another category saying need help. So whoever has time, you can contribute, right? So this is so-called the opening the issue. And the last one to show you is so-called the pull request. So this is where the real contribution comes in, is that you contribute source code, you fix something, and so that other people can merge your stuff, and then you become an official contributor, okay? So what we can do here, next I'm going to show you how we can contribute. I'm going to use the same project, the GEOG-510, okay? So what you can do here right now is to fork the repo. So in upper right corner here, you will see these icons. So star means just like mark this one. So the more stars you get, more means that it's more popular, right? And fork means that somebody is even more interested in this project. They are interested in maybe contributing or put this one. Basically, it's clone this one to their account. So fork means you're copying a copy of the project to your account, so they can make changes. You don't necessarily have to contribute back to the project. You can fork something and then become your project. So basically, build on top of other people's projects. So for right now, I want you to follow through, because I want, similar to the discussion, I want you to contribute something back to this one, so that you can have some hands-on to see what it looks like. So what you can do, click this fork icon, and then if you want to make changes, you can. So because right now I'm this is already under my account, so I cannot actually fork, but you should be able to do that, right? And then just select whatever account and then just create fork. Then this one should show up on your GitHub account. Okay, can you do that? And once you fork the project, you should, under here it should show up your username, GEOG-510, and there should be another line showing you where it's coming from. Yes? Let me see if I can show you some examples, maybe like this repositories, and maybe how about this one? Right, just like this, fork from the original one. So this is where you can start working on this one. So once you fork the repository, you can clone this one to the computer, and then you can start making some changes. So next I'm going to show you how to create a new branch. So this is a very important concept in Git. Come back to this one here, okay? So for me, I would just clone my my own repository, but for you, you want to clone, do not clone from my account, okay? It should be from your fork repository, okay? Then go to your account and then copy this one, the URL. It should be your github.com and then your username and then geog510.git, okay? Once you have that, come back to your repository. I'm gonna do it under my downloads directory. I already have one. Let me delete. Oops. So just clone the repository to your computer. Okay, right click. And then open your terminal. Okay. And git clone, control V, hit enter. Okay, it's done. Then right click, open in Visual Studio Code, or use a Mac, whatever you like. So once you open this one, this is start. You can, because right now this project is under your account. Okay, we can make some changes and we can push it back to your account, and then you can so-called create a pull request to submit the changes or improvement you made into the main repository. So right now you're working on the branch. Actually, it's just your master account. So again, here source control, and then on the left side here, you should see this one here, branches. All right. Right now you will see the master. Can you see that in here? All right. So the master branch basically. You don't want to make changes. Usually you want to keep the master branch, intact, because later you can, once you think about here, this is the master, and then you're making a copy, make some changes, and you push it to here. Once this one is updated, you want to pull the changes so they can keep sync, so you can synchronize with the main repository. So usually what we want to do here is to, let me show you how we can add some changes. So here we say, okay, this one, and so for you right now, I want you to do the same thing, create a new file. Although you can make changes on the same file, but because so many people, so many of you are here, later will be some conflict. So if I add a new line, you delete a new line, you'll be a mess. So it will be difficult to actually merge. But if you just create a new file, then we can easily merge that. So for example here, I can show you, add a new file. So we can do the same thing, just showing you how to create a new, add a new file. So here I can maybe write the name, not your name, but a full or a sport or whatever, anything like. So I can see here maybe, okay, cool.empty, whatever, okay. And then I can do something, okay, Control S. So just create a file, whatever file you want, okay, anything. Then lower left corner here, click the, there were 3 icons in here. So click here and then go to terminal. You should open up the terminal. So this is where you can, if you want to create a new branch, you can, I think you can do it in here. But personally, I don't like the interface. So I will just here type git branch -b, and then this will be the name of the new branch. Okay, so I can say what do I want to do? A bug or whatever. Okay. The branch name, you can do the same thing. So the branch name you can also use, but it doesn't interfere with mine. So for example, just type this one, git space branch -b. So basically this is where you're going to create a new branch. So the new branch, basically we just make some changes, but we want to keep the master intact because later we want to sync the master. So now if I type this one and then hit enter, oops, oh sorry, git checkout, sorry, I typed the wrong one, git checkout -b and then back, not git branch, okay, git checkout. So checkout basically right now we are making a copy, and then we're going to use the name, the new branch called back, and then hit enter. So this time you will see here switch to a new branch back, and then if you on the left side here, if you click the branches, can you see this one here, like green color? Yes. Now everything else, all the steps will be the same like what we did previously. Commit the changes, post to GitHub, and then you have the new branch. Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to like, okay, add a new feature or whatever, add a report about or something, FEATURE, and then Control Enter, publish branch. Okay, now it's done. So here you can come back to here. I just click the globe icon to open this one. So notice what the difference is, right? So this is the master branch, right? The original copy, and then I make a copy, make some changes, and this is so-called a branch. If you click this in here, so the branch basically means, let me see if I have Let me see here, publish builder. I think I have something else in here, maybe the software. I may have a photo or somewhere here. Just like this. Okay. So Git is like version control system. So basically, for example, I starting from here, and then I create a new branch, I improve blah blah the step, and then in the end, you're gonna merge it back to the master branch or the main branch. Okay, so either it's master or the main is the one that everyone's using. So you can make copy, you can do something else. I can create another one, I can create another one. So basically, if your project is being developed by hundreds of people, it will be very difficult that everyone working the same one. Just like because Git is not like Google Document or Microsoft Office Online, right? Everyone like wanting the same document. It's not. You're making a copy, so you want to make sure that you create one. Eventually, you want to come back to here. But sometimes things can be very complicated. So assume, for example, you're working on this file, you add some lines. The other guy can also copy these some lines. So when you try to merge it, the computer or the GitHub need to figure out which one to take, right? If there's any conflict. For now, it should be pretty straightforward because just add a new file. There's nothing fancy here. Where's the? Okay. So under your account, do you also see this one, something like this? Yes. So this is where you can basically compare and submit a pull request. Okay. So I can submit a pull request even for my own report. I can create as many branches as I want, because when I'm trying to add a new feature, I don't want to directly modify the master because it will maybe accidentally break stuff. So you don't want to do that, because especially if a package is being used by a lot of people, you want to make sure that your testing have thorough testing before you merge things into the master. So in this way, always try to work on a branch. And then once it's, for example, I do the testing, everything works fine. Now I can actually create a repo. So do the same thing. I want you to contribute to this repo, right? So if you click submit a pull request, now it's going to show you the base is the master. Compare this at the back. So for you, you should see, for example, my name, username. So you're going to contribute right now to my project. So I'm here. I'm going to show you, for example, add a new feature, and everything in here. Just like what I showed you earlier in discussion, you can add description, you can get sample codes, you can have animation, whatever you want to showcase. Especially if I contribute to a popular project, not all the pull requests will be accepted. Okay, so then assume that it's going to be accepted. But I can say, for example, add a new feature, blah blah. Okay, and then this PR, for example. PR means like pull request. Okay, this PR adds a new file called cool.md. Okay, and so use it for file name, source code. You want to make sure it look like this. Okay, and you can have some sample code, whatever. Once you have done that, scroll down, you will see here one commit, one file has changed, how many contributed, right? So clearly going to show you what is being done, and then just click create pull request. So I want you to send the pull request to my repository, and then you will show me here. And one nice thing about this is that once you submit the pull request, I can continue to make changes, and then just push, it will automatically show up in here. So they say, okay, add a new file and require approval before merging, right? And it's going to show here this branch has no conflict with the base branch, because if one guy is trying to delete a file, add a new file, but that file is not there anymore, it's going to show you like this conflict. So I can show you, for example, once you add this one, I can say, okay, this is not good, please revise. Okay, I can make a comment, like assume the maintainer say no good, okay, not good, okay, revise, and come back to here, and then I can say, I can remove it. How about this now? Good enough. Okay, what else do you want? Okay, Control S, and then I can say revise blah blah, Control Enter, and then sync changes. Come back to here, refresh. Oops. Did it sync? Okay. Now take a look. Commit two changes, two commits. Exactly what I did in Visual Studio Code, right? And you can see the file change. Right. Okay, I see a couple pull requests. Good. Right, this is how you contribute, like really contribute. And then add a new feature. Okay. Let's say okay, awesome. There's a typo here. Okay, thank you for your contribution. And then comment. So take a look at this one. Once you comment, once everything is ready, you are ready to merge this one into the master. And this is the click button. So if there's any conflict, you will need to resolve the conflict. But for beginners, you will most likely, you will most of the time just merge the pull request. So take a look at this one. Once I merge the pull request, you can have a description if you like. Okay, confirm, merge, and then you all set the pull request has been closed. And then I can disable, I can delete the branch. So here, let me can just delete it. Now come back to my main repository. Do you see this file here? Now that means it becomes your code becomes official in the master branch, right? So next I'm going to show you how you can actually switch the branch back to master. So you have not, I have not merged your pull request yet, but I'm just showing you. So let me maybe just submit one pull request. Okay, whoever already did it, okay, add a bug, and then okay, I can double check what files did you, what things did you change, okay, and make sure everything okay is empty. Okay, I can make a comment if I want. If I don't do anything, I just merge the pull request. Okay, I can do the same thing for another one. Okay, each of you need to submit. Okay, I want to make sure that you know what you can commit. I might ask you to revise. If I ask you to revise, then you fix that on your Visual Studio Code and then push. Then you will be reflected here. So I'm going to merge the commit. These are pretty simple, right? If you create a new file, there's no conflict. So okay, list of good restaurants. Okay, I love this. Okay, and then comments. If you think it's not good, I can directly click the close pull request. That means you don't accept it. If it is not good quality, you don't have to. So most pull request, commit. Now, okay, looks like we're all done. Come back to here, look at all the files, right? So this is going to show you basically all the history of whatever commit message and where did that come from. Next, once you have this, go to your repository homepage, 510. You should see the button somewhere here. Ask, like this button, maybe ask, so you can sync changes. Let me see if I can find another repo that can show you. Not this one, because this is not a fork repository. Oops. I just want to show you the what it looks like. So basically, you can pull the changes back to your GitHub repository. For example, this is the one that I fork from somewhere else. So now under your 510 repository, can you see this one, the button here? Sync fork. Right, so earlier you contribute to my repository and I already merged that. So now my master is updated. You also want to sync, basically pull the changes from my master to your master. So all you need to just click this one, sync fork. And then there should be a button somewhere there. Do you see that? And then just click that. It should pull all the changes, latest changes from here to your account. Yes? And that's it. You're done. You contribute something. You submit a pull request. you contribute to the repository, and then you can pull the changes back to your account. And this is why I asked you to create a new branch rather than make changes to the master, because once you change the master, you're going to have something more commit ahead of my master branch. So you always want to create a separate one. Once I've done that, so now you will see here it's already merged. If you open Visual Studio Code, it's going to show you here some kind of pink color, master, blah, blah, blah. That means right now this one is outdated. So your master branch, because I already merged that, but it's not pulled to my local computer here. Just like you pull the changes, sync the changes to your account, but it's not on a local computer. So what we can do right now is to switch the branch back to the master. And so what you can do here is you can just type, for example, git branch, just to show you how many branches right now on your local computer. So the green one, that means this is the current branch. So if you want to switch to the master, you'll be git checkout master. So git checkout master means, okay, I'm going to switch to the master. And if you switch to the master, right, look at this one. I don't see the files in here, because once I switch, it's going to show you here your branch is behind the master by 10 commits. So that means right now I'm behind the branch on the master on GitHub. So what you can do is just type git pull, and then take a look at on the left side. Right, all the files right now are here. So this is the power of Git and GitHub, that you don't have to copy and paste and then try to download the zip file. Everything can be done within a couple of commands. And this is the first iteration. Now I can create a new branch. I can contribute something else, and then merge the pull request, and then I submit merge the pull request. Then I switch the master, pull the changes. That's it. So this is all the iteration of contributing something to open source. And if something is wrong, GitHub will show you that you need to fix this one. If there's a file conflict or something, it's going to show up, right? So again, I can just git check out. So if you want to check out a new branch, you can do it like git checkout dash b, and then so for example, this is like new feature, right? And then now I can edit the changes. So I can, for example, go back to here, add a new line. I can just remove this one, Control S, and then do the same thing, update it, readme, Control Enter, and then push branch, publish branch. On the left side here, just simply click this one. Oops. Or you can go to the here. Alright. Then I can do again. Contribute, submit a pull request, update, readme, blah blah, create a pull request. Okay, it is good. Merge the pull request, commit the merge. All done. I can delete the branch. So the branch here basically means the one is going to show up under the here. It's going to show, for example, this new feature. Once it's done, you don't need it anymore. I can just go to maybe settings, and then branches. So here, oops, doesn't show up. Anyway, so similarly, once I'm done here, git checkout master, and then git pull. That's it. So every time I make some changes, push the master branch, done, and then switch, coming back. Right. So this is all the iteration. Right now, if you're starting with a simple project, you don't have to really create a branch, but it's a must if you are trying to contribute to someone's project. You don't want to modify your main branch, because later you want to pull the latest changes back to your account. Then if your master branch is ahead of the other one, you become more and more difficult. So okay, so that's all I want to show you, like how you can contribute. Again, try yourself. I want all of you to eventually submit a pull request to here, whatever you want to submit. So I want to see each of you really start testing, like submit a pull request, and then you can test it also on your local other repository. But at least submit one to this one here. Okay, so this will be your practice, and then so lab 1. we have covered everything that you need to do that one. But try to polish your profile, your website, have some real content. It doesn't have to be complete, but at least when people open, it should look something like decent. Okay. Any questions? If not, I'll see you next week. Okay.